The NBA always has a bit of drama going on, especially when trade season is just around the corner. And well, it exists for a reason, for the purpose of efficiency. As an NBA player, you have to play your best to be the best, and vice versa. Everyone has their own reason to play, don't they? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Ben Simmons, our favorite Philadelphia 76ers player. Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers. What's it like between the two? For those of you that don't know, for the past couple of months, the news circuits have been flooded regarding the news of the 76ers versatile star player trying to move away from where he's called home for quite a bit of years now. And there's some thick, palpable tension that can be observed as the transfer window nears. Basically, Simmons, who is under contract for 4 more seasons, would like to move on, and the 76ers want to trade him, but only for someone they believe is skilled enough defensively. So far, there's a stalemate. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski was told by sources that Simmons was looking for a trade outside of Philadelphia. Simmons' agent, Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul, even met the Sixers management early on in the offseason, but it seems that Simmons has been putting up a bunch of tantrums when it comes to resuming his role on the team. But well, as for the reasons for his departure, that still lie ambiguous. We wonder what they could be, considering the fact that he's been here for most of his professional basketball career. Let's see why. Reasons why Ben Simmons wants to leave the Philadelphia 76ers. A conflict of interest. There are a number of reasons why Ben Simmons no longer seems interested in continuing his time in Philadelphia. One of the key reasons, it seems, is his internal relations with the team itself. For instance, there has been news about him not wanting to play alongside teammate Joel Embiid, mainly due to stylistic differences between the two, ones that clash. And while there's nothing personal between the two, he believes he needs to move on from a place where Embiid is not blocking the runways and the path that he so badly needs to succeed on. And just as this rumor is up and spreading, the head coach of the Sixers, Doc Rivers, announced on ESPN's First Take, confirming that Simmons is indeed asked to be traded, although he has hopes for both sides eventually reconciling. But is that idealistic or realistic? Embiid, on the other hand, also hopes that Simmons and the Sixers sort it out, telling reporters Monday, "I really hope he changes his mind. I do love playing with him because he adds so much to our team. We've been building this team around us. I don't see it as this is my team. I don't care about any of that." Simmons' mental health struggles. There's been a bit of pressure on Simmons lately, no doubt about that. Simmons bore a pretty heavy holdout of preseason training when he returned to the team's facilities back in October, only to be kicked out and then suspended for their season opener. Simmons had to meet with Coach Doc Rivers, the medical staff, and his teammates during the practice session, and he explained his mental health issues, addressing his teammates for around 5 minutes after their film session concluded. After Simmons spoke, apparently Joel Embiid, the key player for the Sixers, asked Simmons why he wished for a trade, to which Simmons replied he doesn't feel like himself in his headspace to play in Philadelphia, adding that he needs time. Teammates Tobias Harris and Danny Green both lent out support for Simmons during the meeting before Harris tweeted afterward, "And we'll respect his privacy and space during this time. When he's ready, we'll embrace our brother with love and handle our business on the court. That's all. That's it." And it seems that the 76ers are ready to wait for their teammate, even if the upper management isn't. His lack of motivation to play for the Sixers. Sixers veteran Charles Barkley, however, says he doesn't expect Simmons to play for Philadelphia again, egging on a trade to be conducted ASAP. According to Barkley, there are only 2 bonds in pro sports, the locker room and the fans. Barkley said on TNT's NBA coverage, he's burned both of those bridges. According to the NBA community, his behavior towards his team and his work ethic surrounding it have become toxic. Just a while ago, Simmons was made to sit out for all of training camp in their first 3 preseason games, and that led to him getting fined, costing him roughly $1 million in fines. And even if there are conversations on how much of that amount would be reimbursed to Simmons, it depends on whether he ends up staying and playing for them. A few weeks ago, sources reported that Simmons intends to never play another game for the team, but it still seems to be in the dark whether Simmons plans to take his statement back on that stance or if he reported to the team solely to stop being atrociously fined. Once the regular season gets rolling, perhaps both Simmons and the Sixers may inch closer to a long-term solution. Well, if Simmons refuses to play and second-year guard Tyrese Maxey struggles as the Sixers' go-to point guard, Daryl Morey might just have to put up with a below-average replacement for Simmons in any case. Why hasn't Simmons been traded yet? Honestly, because Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal aren't ready yet. Morey is infamous for 3 things as a general manager: not fearing awkward situations, not making a deal because he just has to, and not trying to swing trades to collect those gold stars, pun intended. Like other teams, the 76ers are monitoring the Lillard situation in hopes that they opt out of Portland. Earlier this summer, Lillard expressed that he didn't feel like the Blazers had a championship roster and wanted to see better things. But Portland has had a relaxed offseason in terms of additions or trades. Until another team comes in with a huge offer for Simmons separately, it seems likely Simmons will remain on Philadelphia's roster for the foreseeable future, and that the possibility of him leaving anytime soon doesn't seem to be very strong. What's the status quo? A deadlock it is. Simmons and the Sixers haven't been able to work work out a solution, it seems. The 25-year-old point guard, who was supposed to be traded, remains on Philly's books. He eventually returned, but his motivation was challenged, which got him kicked off practice, and the 76ers were fining him left and right. That was until Simmons admitted he had mental health issues, at which point the Sixers softened their stance. Not for long, though, because he was fined again for $487,000 for missing the game against the Detroit Pistons, but he eventually agreed to consult a specialist with links to the 76ers in an effort to save himself financial trouble. Interestingly, the development comes as Boston was being linked to a possible trade transfer for Simmons, while the Celtics were told they'd need to give up Jaylen Brown, which is unlikely, realistically. Why Philadelphia's getting the smoke. The animosity between Simmons and the 76ers begins from last season's playoff loss to Atlanta, where he took on the blame for the Sixers' embarrassing exit. Teammate and buddy Joel Embiid publicly bashed Simmons' cowardice to shoot as the reason for the team's loss, whereas coach Doc Rivers openly said that he doesn't know or believe if Simmons could lead the Sixers to a championship as their point guard. And on this, veteran NBA journalist Brian Windhorst bashed Philadelphia's treatment of Simmons, saying while he gets that Rivers' comments came from a place of hurt and humiliation in the aftermath of a loss, the way the Sixers have continued to scapegoat the point guard doesn't give off a very good look for the team. He starts off by saying that one of the few unspoken rules of the league was that no matter what was going on with a player, no matter what he was doing on the court or what he was doing in the locker room or the practice court, you don't shun them down. You do not publicly badmouth them. He continued to elaborate, saying that he's never even seen a player being more belittled by his own team than Ben Simmons. What they've done since then has been unconscionable, the way they've devalued him. And I just don't understand why a guy like Daryl Morey, who's one of the smartest guys in the league, would condone the over and over and over devaluing of this guy he questioned. And the fact that they're questioning whether or not he really has mental health problems, they're basically calling him a phony. Even if it seems apathetic, it's more glaringly obvious as bad business. If they want a replacement for the point guard, they need Simmons to maintain a high trade value if they want to receive a genuine star in a future swap for Simmons. If the teams don't deem him worthy, then Philadelphia may struggle to put any deal together on the table. And that's all for today, folks. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any queries, leave them down in the comments below so we can address them in the next video. See you then, and thank you for watching. Ciao!